which can still have a lane, but it's not aggression. And that's the lane we saw falling behind for Dignitas.
Yeah, X Special gave up first blood in that lane in the 2v2. So a Lulu ban actually comes out right off the bat. That kind of tells me that Immortals doesn't want Ole on it, and they don't want to just kind of give it over to Team Dignitas, because that says we're not willing to first pick this champion.
Very true. Polymorph, all the slows, makes Dardoch's life hard in the early game. We saw a few of those engages be flubbed because he couldn't do much in Polymorph mode. Graves gets banned out. Good to see Dardoch going back to that Lee Sin as the team feels comfortable on it.
Yeah, and in the late game, I mean, we were talking about how difficult it would be for Dardoch to kick someone back through a Cassiopeia. It's even harder through a Polymorph from Lulu. It's just one point-and-click button, and you can't do anything for over 2 seconds.
Taking their time on these bans. A little bit of rest from the last game. I'm sure they want to get back in, but also a sigh of relief for Dignitas there as they went over 60 minutes. Rumble getting banned out. He was actually left up last time, so they feel like someday would create quite a bit of pressure from that on the top side.
Yeah, it could also be a matchup-specific thing. Rumble steamrolls a lot of the less mobile champions. And blue side typically has a little bit more flexibility in the early ban phase, since they do have that first pick option.
Music attack. So carrying over the intensity of last game. What is the next ban? Who do they feel is troublesome? They already have the Lulu. May want to keep that Caitlyn somewhere. It's not picked up in this first round, but it is the Camille they take out. Now Dignitas for their final ban.
Third top laner ban. But still leaving this last ban. So since Lulu's already been banned, we've been seeing that as the last ban very frequently. Rengar is something that was banned the last game that is yet to be banned here.
Malzahar was the final phase 1 for Immortals too. 5 seconds left for Dignitas to find one more. It is going to be the Caitlyn.
So fearing the early laning from Cody's son, probably for good reason since they lost the Ezreal matchup anyway, so getting rid of Caitlyn good, but Rengar for Dardoch.
Yep, that was their ban last time. Dardoch feels like he can play comfortably on it. Keep it tried and true. Why not?
Yeah, well, also you want to deny, I feel like you want to deny Rengar Nautilus. Every time I've seen that duo, when they both hit 6, they just press the Nautilus ult on someone, and Rengar does such an immense amount of damage when he can double Q you with his ferocity stacks that it's about the most reliable kill lane we have in the game right now. So if you take Nautilus yourself, Rengar's team can't do that.
That Malzahar ban left open this time, also picked up by X Special this time around. And now Dardoch and Pole Belter to answer. Could be easy pickup of a top laner here to not show too much, keep things even, and then maybe grab that Karma up for themselves.
Yeah, unless they got something more creative planned. I mean, Malzahar is banned a lot for a reason. Lulu's the most picked support on this patch, but Malzahar is the most banned support on this patch. So it's hard to pick good things against it.
Ooh.
Gragas top.
Gragas top lane for Flame, so a little bit of carry potential coming out here. Thought we would have seen this in the hands of someday this matchup before Flame got it, but I am wrong.
Yeah, it's another one of those things that is starting to match the Nautilus if you're not wanting to go Maokai. More displacement for sure, but not quite the same level of late game tonkiness. Misfortune right there could be Marksman. Haven't seen it as support in a while, but against the Malzahar does have that nice passive. Yeah, this team in particular has played it as a Cody Sun champion 3 times, the Misfortune, and an Ole champion 5 times. So it really could go either way.
I'm sure Cop is used to this. It's like, oh look, flex picks. I like flex picks. So Cop loves to put in. Looks like a pretty standard roundabout pick here, however, for Team Dignitas this time around. As they take Lee Sin and we get into our second ban phase. Seeing that MF, kind of have to consider what type of compositions being created here from Immortals and how they can stay away from grouping up against this comp.
Yeah, and Immortals threw a lot of bans at LoD last game with the second phase, but I would love to see them have a Cassiopeia ban this game. But they kept Keen mostly under wraps, but you just have to play around it so much, and it is by far Keen's most picked champion this split, and I think something he looks the most comfortable on. So I think it would be worthy of a denial ban right here by Immortals. Do it. Ah, they do Zed instead. Another one of his highly played champions.
Saw this just the other day as well, on Friday.
Yeah, run on mid laners right here, as both teams still have to pick it. Team Dignitas both have the first chance to pick a generic one if they are safe blind picking it, or have power of the last pick. It would just make them lock in their bottom lane early if they do so.
Get rid of that Talia. They get rid of that Varus. Considering that that is the MF support for them with the Malzahar on the other side.
I'm a little confused by the Varus ban here. Jhin is still available, Ashe is still available. I'm not sure what unique about the Varus for Cody's son would be there, but yes, we do see the Cassiope ban.
There it is, Ezreal. That means it's obviously going to be Ezreal for the other side. Huh. All right.
Yeah, I mean, in this world, they are considering the remaining carries and say Varus is the best available into Ezreal, which is what Team Dignitas picked last game when Immortals had Ezreal. They picked Varus. So they're saying, okay, we have nothing else huge we want to target. A lot of times these last bans in Phase 2 are sometimes throwaways. Let's just try and make this matchup a little bit better. So I can see the logic there, but I just think there's a lot available for Cody's son that he could potentially pick. Ashe, he could just go Misfortune. They may already have their AD carry picked. Ashe.
Say with that far down, you don't want them to stun you with one ult, they're going to stun you with the next one. Ashe does come through for Cody's son. Pobelter looking at the Vladimir to round up in composition with a little bit more ability power.
Pobelter loves playing Vladimir. Dating back to his time on Immortals last split, he would say when they have Vladimir, he feels like it's a free win. He's coming back in meta, had some buffs a few patches ago, and it's locked in.
Also not afraid to do those flash, just tides of blood, insta-kill plays, even if an entire team is there. Really knows the kind of boundaries of being able to pool out of a situation and be safe. Keen sometimes dropping back to that Azir. We see just about all of these champions played this weekend by himself. And they're going to go with more shields, a shield. They're going to go with the Orianna. Look for a little bit more engage here for the team as well.
Yeah, Orianna, one of the safest mid lane picks you can choose, as long as you're good at it, right? That's one thing that's overlooked. Orianna has a hugely complex mastery curve. So many different things you can do with that champion, but Keen currently 3-1 on it this split. Been very highly picked lately.
I do like once you get into the late game, as you say, you can dance around everybody. Ball control is imperative. It's also fun to watch and see how people place the ball, where they leave it. Sometimes people leave it close to a wall. Sometimes people leave it in the minion just to get a nice shockwave. They do also have a chaser to put it on. A little more dangerous, but there is a delivery system here for the side of Dignitas coming in with the Orianna. Immortals switching it up from a heavy tank composition with some damage to putting a little bit of damage everywhere with a bit of tank.
Yeah, I mean, 5 new champions for Immortals this game when compared to last one, so a total switch up in how they are going to be playing this one. Seeing that team composition, the first pick Rengar, putting it in their hands of their carry in most games.
And this is also Lee Sin going over to Chaser. Obviously he plays it, but Dardoch's been on that quite a bit. Like you said, choosing that Rengar and still feeling comfortable. Hashtag IMTWin, hashtag DigWin. If they do, they are looking at playoffs.
Yeah, Team Dignitas wanting to close out a 2-0 after a nearly 65-minute game one.
So now we're going to get that 20-minute rush down, right? Somebody's just going to turn the tides and come out crazy, firing on all cylinders in this one. We'll get Cody's son actually starting on the longsword to Doran's for Lad as we get into the lane, and a Dark Seal for Pobelter.
Yeah, and Riv, Immortals is one of those teams that does have the 20-minute rushdown wins from time to time, and that's what they were trying to do last game. It just got a little bit shut down due to some poor execution after they had the early lead, because very early on, Cody's son in the late got first blood, Pobelter roamed down, got another one, and Dardoch just tried to build on that, and that's where things went a little awry. But the potential is definitely there to force a quick game 3 if Immortals can execute.
Like no help. Someday still has quite a bit of time to get down there. They're making sure there's no aid. So it looks like he may head down Give a bit of help on the Raptors. And then actually a top start here, seemed for Dardoch. So.
Yeah, it's actually pretty rare that you see Rengar start on his blue side jungle. Most Rengars will start Raptors.
Yeah, there he goes.
And then
wait a minute.
Yeah, then either do the full clear of the red side into a recall or try and do some type of full clear.
Oh, I know. I watched the breakdown chat.
I spent so much time looking at Rengar jungle routes, Riv. I need to make use of it in my casting. Yeah, Rengar falls pretty low, especially after the nerfs to his armor. So if he doesn't get a good pull, it's actually a pretty dire time in the jungle for Rengar. And that is not what you would call a great pull. So
one transfusion, got him.
Yeah.
Really helping out nice. You see Someday taking the safe route back up top. Team's still wary of if somebody's going to change this up on them and try to get a kill early game. Flame kind of prepping some minions so he can get a clear with a barrel if it comes to a quick level 2 for himself. And a good start with volleys and aggression here. Looks like they got Laud with a few auto attacks.
Yeah, and it's really been a while since we've even seen them as Fortune support. It was mainly the Zyra and Malzahar counterpick. So when you throw in the Malzahar, always put the time in, you can still get some surprise action on it.
I was just about to say that. We see Ole coming in playing a lot of Morgana. I was like, hey, this guy plays a lot of Morgana, let's ban it. And then he instantly had all these other things that he can play. You're like, all right, he's bringing it to the table.
Yeah, Ole's actually been understatedly good, I would say, this split. Creates a lot of vision control opportunities for Immortals and has really transitioned this into a strong dual lane as the split progresses along with Cody-san.
Last few weeks of the split has left the bottom lane at 15, about 700, near 700 gold up of their opponents. Isn't too shabby. It's definitely going to get you out of lane with an item on your AD carry. And definitely the upper hand to level 6, which is what matters.
Check this out from Dardoch. Pretty bold invade. He mixes it up. He did the 3-camp clear, but then at half health is deciding an invade into blue buff, and he's going to get it. So I was talking about this earlier with some of the other casters, trying to figure out pro jungle routes, and so many of them would be bad or not good in a vacuum, but they end up working just because these guys are so much on the mind game level that it's not really about whether or not you know how to clear with the jungler. And I mean, we saw yesterday Acadian did a 3-camp clear essentially where Chaser is in that quadrant of the jungle right now, and then ganked top lane by skipping his entire red side of the jungle. And this one by Dardoch is just, it's not a Rengar path that we've seen anyone do last week. It's not something you would expect from a Rengar, but he does it and he gets the blue steal, and now because he's been sitting around for so long, he's getting the health read in to maybe even pull off a level 4 gank.
Over the wall, Someday yet to ward, tries to get in, actually hits him with the bola. That's a dead Someday. He should just hold flash coming out of this. Bot lane gonna get a little love from Chaser. That seems to fizzle out before you can get to Tri-Brush on the mini-map. And Dardoch again looking to get first blood for the team there.
Yeah, and Rengar does snowball pretty hard if you can get an early lead on him. So that start from Dardoch, he likes to make some of these risky moves. It's paying off for him this time.
When you look to search it, Chaser's trying to do runs around towards the red side, making sure that's down, hoping for getting to get a time on that. And now he's just forced to take Raptors, seeing Flame, and Dardoch get a kill top side there. Holding back just on the side of Keen, making sure he can go quickly between both sides of his jungle.
Yeah, just staying out of the map exceedingly long is going to give a really good buy to Dardoch at the start of the game. Did get his Raptors counter jungle, but that's a cost willing to tank when he steals blue as well as gets first blood.
Cody-san love to facilitate these lanes with their picks. They can always poke past minions, something they can keep right in the middle. There's the Ezreal Karma last time. Not as effective this time, but still, it is a pain in the butt to just keep getting auto-attacked and then Make It Rain with Thunderlords on here in the early game.
Yeah.
They like to pressure their lane as long as, or even if they can't stay up on that, sorry.
Exactly, forcing the arcane shift back.
Whoa! Oh!
What? Chaser!
Didn't happen.
Maybe we move on from that, but oh my God.
It happens. I mean, he waited. He's like, I can take this. No. There's the Ignite. Laud going down. He should go down on this one. Ole comes up with a kill there with the aggression. As we said, Immortals loves to keep the pressure down. And gotta watch out for the Voidlings. Almost taking down Cody-san. they attacked a few more, they might have had a chance. Both summoners for Lot as well. 4 summoners, though, for Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, technically, Dignitas will have the summoner spell advantage after this one, but just to kind of go back, the level of tilt that may just have hit Team Dignitas there is pretty high. Seeing your jungler get executed into immediately losing a 2v2 in the bottom side, not good. I mean, we had been praising Chaser for improvements later in the split, and the executes in the jungle are not what you want to see, but we're going to see the actual conflict between players and other players. Right here, we mentioned how much they had poked him down. Laud had burned his Arcane Shift earlier, so he kills early. And this is double Flash Ignited on right there to close out the kill. They had actually been losing that lane slightly. Chaser eventually does go back for revenge on the Krug, but he meets Dardoch there.
No doubt you can get an advantage in lane if you blow 4 summoner spells. Let's say that. It's if you can keep it just after. Death Charge here, level 6 coming up quick for these top laners. Dardoch able to get out. Rotation is from Keen first. That could be bad for Dardoch. He tries to get the speed from the Shrine, grabs it with Bola, and just squeaks by Keen as they try to dissonance themselves closer for the fight.
Kind of wants to try.
What a dance. Oh no, he walked into it. Nice job by Chaser to pick up a kill there. Pobelter now getting himself forward with the flash. Remember, usually running Ignite, not the Ghost. Trying to keep in range. It looks like the team has called each other off the fight with bot lane missing there. Special.
Whew. Not only does Chaser get the shutdown on the Krug, he also kills Dardoch here, so right back in the game. I mean, that is what you need to be able to do as a pro player, is even if you make the silliest of errors, still have the confidence to go for those plays. Flash, Q is the right call in that situation, gets the kill on a Dardoch and keeps Team Dignitas in the game.
Bot lane still taking a good bit of pressure. The kill going over to Ole last time. Not gonna matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Dardoch now back into this top side of the jungle. Actually just missed that scrying. Scryer's bloom, I should say.
Making sure they're getting as much vision control as possible. Chaser hits level 6 the same time Dardoch does. Rengar gank is pretty potent, especially bottom lane. If you can get the Ash Arrow to connect with the Rengar, would most likely just be a clean kill. May end up going topside though, as Ganks are looking to path on Sunday.
Forward ward just placed in the brush on that side for Immortals. Teleport's only seconds away here from the top laners as well. May see a little bit of love down the bot lane. Mountain Drake is up. Both teams would love to have that.
Ooh, Ole misses the ward with his sweeper. It was in the brush behind them, and that's the threat if Someday did want to teleport in for a play.
It's funny, you'd still go crazy. Both teams have placed that ward, but as an AD carry and a bot, you still want to go for the fight. You forget about the scenario altogether. That's how these ones play out. They may not need to teleport down. His Chaser is already here, firing back. Ole uses bullet time. It's not going to be enough as Xpecial picks one up in the bot lane. The support's doing pretty good down here.
Yep, Malzahar level 6, even arguably more potent than the Ashe level 6 because it is so reliable.
Yeah.
Flash, ult, the damage follows through. Cody's son still did not have his heal. They may have getting first turret for that, but here comes Flame. The teleport would need to be matched by Someday.
The pings go down. It is. It's going to be a little bit later, so the engage isn't fully there. Xpecial's passive knocks off the slow. He would have found a double jump in. The Keen goes for the ultimate. It's not going to just be under the turret enough. And the flash is blown there. No heal for him. Dardoch comes up with a kill, and Immortals looks to pressure down mid lane.
Dardoch with the double jump right there. Opens up out of ult and then still gets the brush to extend him into the lane post flash.
Fast fingers.
Finds the clutch solo kill onto Keen as Chasers run down in the river as well. Late teleport match by Someday did contribute to that setting up that way, but outplay by Dardoch at the end.
He has been very mobile in the beginning of this game, not resting on any advantage he has grabbed. Continuing to try and create more for the team, and really all over the map. We saw him in the top side, giving Chaser a little trouble. Did go down for that, but again, gets himself back in. Both junglers getting hit pretty hard, but still keeping their head in the game. And we'll see this play again in the bot.
Yeah, Team Dignitas was hoping to just get that turret even since it was just Ole, but Flame teleports down. They cut off Chaser. The Nautilus teleport does save, but then Flame flash ult into Pobelter. That was pretty sweet. And we had already seen the Rengar kill in the middle.
Rotation here, pretty strong by Keen. Summoners are down, so it'll be interesting to see how hard they actually try to go on this. Bullet time to drop Special Spell Shield into a fast arrow. I like the combination, but they do not get it to connect.
It's actually a good thing that Ash Arrow didn't connect.
Yeah.
Immortals was going to be walking into a counter gank.
That's a good
from Chaser
point.
and Keen. They were waiting around the Drake pit, so Chaser has had a great ability to be in the right place for a counter gank. He communicated that with Keen there. It was perfectly set up. If the arrow would have landed, actually. Rare that you want your own team to get hit by an Ash Arrow, but that would have been the bait necessary for Immortals to fly in. Instead, no one dies.
Usually the things you think of after the thought, too. Be like, man, should have let that hit me.
Yeah, you're instinctually trying to dodge it, but like, how could I dodge into the arrow? Is this possible?
Some days you just do it all the time. You don't have to guess.
Yeah.
Good, clear. I like the ward over the wall. We denied if Immortals were to put a... Okay, so he sweeps it. I was going to say a control ward in the brush, but he saw it come through. Ole playing smart, keeping his eyes peeled as they receive a little bit more pressure in the bot side, so they got to keep themselves safe. Those wards are moving in from Dignitas towards the red, towards the dragon, possibly help for the next one, but we still have some time. Immortals keeping themselves safe. 2 kills for Dardoch to start things off, 1 for Chaser, 1 for Special.
Yeah, Dardoch is 800 gold ahead of Chaser because of how hard he has been farming, and I'm wondering when he's going to try and turn his attention to the top lane, actually. The Nautilus matchup itemizes magic resistance fairly heavily early, so Dardoch can still threaten him pretty easily. That long 1v1 lane to the top lane is often where I see Rengars go for some of the most effective ganks. Or do they dive the bottom lane?
So help to that blue side that they have somewhat had a lockdown on. And they say, we feel like Chaser's going to be here quite soon.
No one directly saw them enter, but they're assuming it just because they've been missing on the map. Collapse will hit Pobelter soon.
He's got to take a lot of damage before going in. He was silenced in the beginning, so he's got a pool at low health. That is Special going down to start things off. Bullet time could take down Lod. Lives with a sliver of health, and now they're onto Dardoch as it's a 1-for-1. Summoner spells blown all over the map. Keen cleans up Ole as he's too far deep.
Wants to get in the range.
He almost could take it, but just out of the Sonic Wave to Resonating Strike connection. Dardoch keeps himself alive. What a crazy engage for everybody to disengage so quick.
Yeah, Game Sense saved Team Dignitas right there from absolute disaster since the 4-man dive would have collapsed towards them, but they instead collapse on the 2. It does cost them their bottom tier turret, but that was probably going down anyway.
Toying with each other at this red. We'll see this one more time. Pobelter gets silenced, and it actually prevents quite a bit here.
Yeah, arrow
Nice
missed,
job.
which delays a lot of it, but really you can see Chaser arriving quickly, and then on the side of the fight as well, Keen just zeroes in onto Ole, who was trying to arrive with bullet time, but there's that top lane gank.
We're looking for it. Flash blown. It's a repeat. So someday be waiting that 5 minutes.
They're actually trying to cycle the turrets here. They've roamed the support up as well, and Special is nowhere near.
Solo gold as well. Never mind. Here comes Ole.
Yeah, they actually should
flame
try and
all by
break the turret
himself.
down.
It'll take a little bit of time to take it. No rotation yet from Cody Sun. Still waiting in base to get a buy on Essence Reaver for him, but he will find pressure now from the side of Dignitas. Flame has to back off. Like you said, Immortals with a quick rotation top are able to get some damage down that could provide them with a siege very soon.
Still a close game. If you compare it to last match, though, differently matched team composition, so the late game team fights will be more evenly balanced. As if the 65-minute game wasn't enough. No. This one, I think, will end sooner because both teams have the wherewithal to have the big winning team fight. Vladimir and Oriana, both really good team fight mages.
Yep. Definitely less team fights where nobody goes down. With these ultimates, you're usually going to have 1 or 2, and then an advantage follow through. Mid turret also takes damage. Immortals nicely prepping this outer ring here. A lot of gold to be picked up in the next few minutes if they can get it to work. So they got to keep careful though.
Greedy here.
Yeah.
And the lane pressure is immense right now for Immortals. They're really trying to break this game open. If they can get those 3 outer turrets down, then that opens them up since they already have the Mountain Drake to threaten objectives much more easily since Team Dignitas will not have safe places to wander. Oh, here we go, though.
Dardoch gets hit. That's going to be the kill onto him. A nice gathering of Dignitas towards the river. 14 seconds on Infernal Drake. That's the guy you want to take down. Looks like Dignitas is ready to pick themselves up a bit of control.
Yeah, quality conversions by Xpecial on his flash ultimates this game. Seemingly every time it gives him a kill. When Xpecial's having some of his off games, he'll flash ult without the backup of his team, but they seem to be much more well synced now than they were a few weeks ago.
Lod also just finishing that call as he gets back to a minion wave, so a bit of surge of gold for him. Little things playing in the favor of Dig here.
They want to stop this, even though it's 45.
And pressure it enough. Bullet time goes down. They are able to get the Mountain Drake over to the side of Dignitas. Pobelter back with the ultimate. Saves himself with a quick Crimson Rush, gets a good heal out of that, pulls into the fight, but puts himself in a very scary situation. True Shot Barrage takes him out. Chaser falls as well. The double for Lod as he comes up big. That gold from the call, and now kills coming through. One more finish from Xpecial, and now they look for Dardoch. Remember, Dardoch just came back from that death. He has some options to go for kills, but it looks like he's low enough now to have to get out of the situation. The kill could have came through for Dig.
And right when Immortals wanted to break this game open, it swings back in Team Dignitas' favor. So much of League of Legends on the pro level is about building upon small advantages. But so many times, Immortals isn't willing to concede small advantages either, and instead stop that, and it turns it into a big play. So right here, it is a 4v5. They do not have their smite, but they go in for the fight anyway. The smite goes down, and Pobelter gets pretty destroyed by Keen in the start of this fight, and then they get low enough at the very end. The True Shot Barrage kills both Pobelter and Cody Sun. Then they're trapped in the back of the pit for a third kill to go over. So really has been the Achilles heel of Immortals. Sometimes it's what leads them to victory because they make so many powerful plays and they actually hit the home run, but in this game, it's keeping it close.
Rip Herald it is, says Dardoch. Flame actually rotating up here. Say they may converge onto mid lane, but he's just trying to get some wards in as he walks over a plethora of them placed by Dignitas in the river someday. Very privy to the information of that, so he is safe in the bot lane. Looks like Dardoch's going to grab himself the Rift Herald, so a little bit stronger now for quite some time.
Absolutely. Although, has very little effectiveness in team fighting, more of a split push buff. Worth taking if they weren't doing anything else, although I actually think they should have been pressuring the top lane turret during that time. Instead, though, Dardoch will have that buff for the next 20 minutes.
Just outside the blast cone, Dignitas trying to get wards over the wall. They do. They know what they're actually fighting against here. Top turret to be protected by Dignitas. The roam mid actually stopped from Keen. So it looks like Cody Sun and Keen stay mid, and the rest of the team figures out between River and this top side, something's going to happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, Xpecial's flash will be off cooldown shortly. They've been looking to make a lot of plays there as well. Ooh. Ole is not a very tanky dude, so when he walks up to put wards out, he's at very high risk. Instead, they try and go on Xpecial early.
Oh, Chaser actually gets locked down. He can't safeguard in. That played out perfectly for Immortals to come through strong. Chaser now getting hit. The Ignite goes down. He should not be able to finish off Pobelter. And now they're on to Lod. Belt forward. Will he have enough under the turret? Not the Crimson Rush damage or heal he was looking for. And the cask almost does the deed. Lod gets out alive. Both summoners blown once more. 8-8 here as we come up on 20 minutes into the game.
Oh boy, the Command Protect saved Lod's life right there, but Immortals pull the trigger and make the play happen. I mean, Ole is this juicy bait running around. Everyone wants to try and catch him, and he's actually the one that initiates the fight for Immortals.
It's actually what I thought when we saw Ole run in and Dardoch go the other way. I was like, wait, there's miscommunication here. They might want to slow down. But he was happy to be out in the fray with the team behind him. Immortals come up quick on that, and we'll see it once more.
Yeah. The E very good at breaking the Malzahar shield. Xpecial does ult, but the Ash Arrow hitting Chaser also stunts the counter engage that they would be able to do. I mean, the Nautilus with no teleport there is going to make it a natural 5v4 for Immortals, so they're probably winning anyway. And then right at the end here, Keen just the marathon from mid lane, pretty much a quarter of a second before that cast hits. The 100 damage shield is what saves his life.
Keeps him at 2-1-4. Says nice score, Keen. Let's carry the game. as these two will do the DPS. And someday, back onto that tank. Chaser, not as powerful as last time, but still helping to get these kills in for the team and make sure they can come out on top of these fights. See Immortals pressuring down, though, not making it as easy for Dignitas as it was in the early game last time. And now it's just about wards again. These teams are very, very patient. Once any objectives are down, they say, all right, that's where we have to fight. We don't want to get ourselves in too much trouble.
Yeah, and then when they do fight, they're very willing to get themselves in trouble for sure. Oh, it seems like a special cut.
It doesn't end once it starts. It just has to start. Good arcane shift out. Flame using the ultimate already, as you can see, it's down, so they can't put special back into the fight. Top push by Someday if Dignitas can kind of keep toying with Immortals here in mid.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, having a good offense against X Special equates to having a good defense from him, because the main way he makes plays is with Flash Ultimate. Yet, when Immortals has been jumping him, he's either burning his Flash or his Ultimate defensively, which really diminishes the playmaking the Team Dignitas have. So, when they can get little picks like that, even if they don't turn into kills, it can still be a pretty large advantage, since it kind of takes away Team Dignitas' one of their good initiations.
Belter demanding a bit of respect towards that bot side. Nobody able to clean up the minions. So it may start to run Dig a little thin. Fortunately for them, not too much of a push is happening on either side of the map. Flame's going to back off there, and they will have time to collect what's happening in the bot lane. Wards here for the next Mountain Drake. It's going to be big if a team like Misfortune and an Ashe can have two of these to approach turrets. Belter, he can still pull out of this if he wants, but they do not let his feet touch the ground, and they're able to take him down. Lod coming up with that kill.
Yeah, no flash on X Special, but if you walk directly up to him, he will still get that Nethergrasp up. Before Malzahar became a support even, you would see it as a pick against Vladimir, just because in the late game, the Nethergrasp just kind of prevents Vladimir from doing all his, you know, BS stuff in fights. You just ult him and then kill him.
Lock on
right there.
Get some nice percent damage. Vladimir loves building that HP. You take him right down. Special, like you said, on point with locking down the Nether Grasp, but also keeping the vision up on Dig's side so they can hit IMT as they try to get into the jungle each time. 235 to 182 in that mid lane for Keen as he farms himself up to be quite big. Mirror on a finish for Lod, along with his Triforce.
Very true. That's a huge power spike for the Orianna as well, with the Luden's Echo and the Morellonomicon. These two teams showing how evenly matched they really are, and it should be no surprise. They both come in at 8 and 9 match records, game records incredibly similar. Oh, that does hit. True, though.
Oh, great hit by Flame on the cask. It is a kill that goes over to Cody Sun turret as well for the team. A lot of gold influx there.
Yeah, just a few seconds away from Flash on Laud. Thought he'd be able to live with the heal. You can see not a huge amount of damage from those three. No Black Cleaver on Ole, and only rank 1 in his bullet time. It's really lackluster at that stage in the game. Top lane Gragas doesn't do much, and Ashe doesn't have the itemization yet for huge damage. So it took a while to kill Laud, but still get it done and get the turret.
Also, I think Laud kind of had the same thing in mind you were saying. Nah, they're not going to do enough damage. They won't arrow me under turret. When you least expect it, that's when it happens. Won't be approaching Ashe and MF anytime soon like that again. 3,000 gold lead almost. 3.5 to 4,000 gold lead here for Immortals. Other turrets are down. They can start working towards the inside of the jungle. Whoa. No, not enough deep wards to see where they were going. A control ward actually placed in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of a skittish flash there from Keen, just at the first sight of Flame. He was worried about the body slam flash connecting, and he'd seen some other people there, but I do not think he had to burn it. I don't even think the body slam flash would have been in range. Keen was very far away from Gragas during that play.
Also considering the chaos of the play, Lod actually just had that ult used on him, so there is no bounce back from Exploding Cask. So the timings here being a bit lost in the transition of people going back and only solo lanes being covered.
Lane pressure still in the favor of Immortals. They are still extending this lead. Immortals likes being in the driver's seat, but it's all about getting clean execution. Them willing to go for plays has never been the problem. It's about having the right setup for the plays, and you can see they don't really have wards beyond the point of where the play would want to be made, which is a challenge in itself.
Can't really see anybody but Cody Sun.
Oh, arrow!
Bounces him back, good shift, gets himself to safety. And they're able to fizzle this one out. Someday looking for an engage. There's nobody there to really help him. He's kind of just flexing his muscles, and they may decide to go. True Shot Barrage does give him the distance to follow. Cody's son, DPS, has been stopped by a bit of that depth charge pop-up, and now the shield onto Someday. If he can get himself back into the fight,
Pobelter wants it
the
too.
Shockwave. A good flank by Pobelter. They find the back line and make it the front on the side of Dignitas. It is Pobelter, Someday and Flame in rather, and Pobelter now on to Keen, gets the kill there. No Shockwave for this fight at all, as Dignitas has almost zero time to react.
Oh man, Immortals turned that around exactly how they wanted to. Someday really felt like he was trying to force that one when it wasn't there, and Team Dignitas trying to run through to follow up, just expose themselves to the Pobelter flank on the backside of the fight, and it's a big win for Immortals.
Said it was going to be a bit earlier this time. Jat teams with a bit more confidence and way to get into the fights. It seems like that is to get the ults in and follow up with Pobelter and Flame to start things off. Dignitas find themselves an inhibitor down now, 26 minutes in.
Yeah, that's a big break that Immortals really wanted in this game to try and blow it open.
See this again.
Yeah, a lot of it starts with Someday. I mean, he lands the dredge onto Cody's son, and they get the ultimate from the Ezreal, so they're thinking they can do this. But you look at Team Dignitas, and they're pretty far in the back of this fight. And then here we go. Dardoch jumps in, and that distracts people from Pobelter. Everyone except Xpecial was not looking at Pobelter, so the Nethergrass doesn't give the team time to burst down Pobelter. And then when Vladimir gets into his combos, he just steamrolls Keen's Orianna, who couldn't get close enough for a Shockwave, and that's a big swing in the fight.
Flame taking position in the bot side. The ward's even down towards that inhibitor as well, so they can see if the team is trying to back up and get themselves into safety. They just have to be careful now. Immortals, a lot of control wards to keep their jungle under wraps. Looks like they're going to start moving forward to get big jungle under wraps as well. They pretty much own everything on the map here. Waiting for top to get pushed up. They just lost pressure in the bottom. 48 seconds on Cloud Drake.
Yeah, they still have the Ash Arrow for initiation up right now. So many summoner spells were burned in that last fight, so I'm expecting a lot of proactivity from Immortals trying to pull this off. They also have the Mountain Drake, so they can threaten Baron more quickly.
Dardoch, a BS sword.
Yep, going towards Duskblade.
Yep. Got damage. Don't stop now. 3-3 and 3, 160 to 129. As he's kept himself as well in and out on the Rift, in the jungle, I should say, and out on the Rift.
Yeah, and also now that Pobelter has Quicksilver Sash, he doesn't have to be nearly as fearful of Xpecial in fights. Really going to hurt Team Dignitas' team fighting if they cannot peel Pobelter.
Holy being such a nuisance right now to dig, because he can just drop the bullet times. He knows the range is good enough, but also keeping tabs on a few of the members allows now Flame to get this push in the bot lane a little bit better. Someday has a pretty far walk to get there. The turret is down to about 75% HP, so a few more minion blocks like that will get it to go down. As the Cloud Drake is picked up. We'll actually see another Cloud Drake coming up next.
Yeah, and they also get the Cloud Drake without having to invest vision coverage on that side of the map. All their vision is already in the Baron area, so they're quickly able to transition towards this as a threat. And Team Dignitas, you know, facing a pretty big deficit, are going to have trouble making it in to see this. Chaser burning Smite on the Raptors as well. It's going to be 15 seconds before that can even come up, so they just kind of lose it. There's the decisive Baron calls you like to be able to see.
5 control wards out in the inventory of Dignitas. Only plays back towards their red buff. Immortals doing a great job at forcing out any of that permanent coverage here for Dignitas. And now they get to roam around. Second tier turret, much harder to siege on, or I should say not siege, much harder to protect and easier for Immortals to siege.
Dardoch ulted, and that scared Team Dignitas away, so a very quick transition into yet another outer turret. Immortals probably going to go all the way to the bottom side of the map and get that outer turret, as they are actually extending this lead quite efficiently.
16 for Flame, Pobelter, as well as Solo lanes on the other side, Someday and Keen, getting that last level of ultimate to make an impact in these fights. Penetration being locked in for Keen. Like you said, that Ludens and now Void Staff with those pen boots from earlier.
Whoa. Oh, Special gets really low.
Close eye. Special gets hit up. Lockdown after lockdown. They trade. Retribution kill now onto Dardoch for Special. Someday looking to get himself out as Flame looks to get in a little bit. And now they are pushing them down the lane. The bullet time to keep him in range for Flame here. That was a flash forward from Ole. They really want this. Dissonance shutting it down as they went for the next engage.
Yeah, just a 1-for-1, and actually one that ends up favoring Team Dignitas, as Dardoch is a huge damage dealer in fights. Kind of dives in before the team was ready. Pobelter was down bottom trying to prep that wave, but Special kind of put himself on a silver platter there for this fight.
Yeah.
Just ended up baiting in Dardoch a little bit too far.
It's like the pawn for the bishop, or the knight, if you will,
Yep.
right?
Not an equal trade.
No.
Fed jungler versus Malzahar's support.
Nice bullet time, keeps 3 members in. Flame the
Oh,
target.
dear.
Pobelter to the back side of the team. They do get the shockwave on. He came out of pool under the turret. He's then able to deny a bit of turret aggro with his Zanyas, but this will not be good for Pobelter on the side. Locked in is Flame once more as Lod continues to damage. Pobelter somehow staying alive. Crimson Rush coming back up. He gets that with the pool. This should be a big heal, and he may get the fight in his favor. Timing out his abilities and passive perfectly on the cue. Crimson Rush up again. Bam goes Special, and Pobelter comes up with a double kill in a basically 3v1 situation from the beginning.
Yeah, and now who's gonna stop him? It's not Someday. Dardoch's back. He hops over the wall.
Here it comes up once again. Huge heal, hits him. That's the triple kill to come up for Pobelter extended, and they go for the second tier bot lane.
Pobelter, the MVP of that fight. Just solo killing Keen at the start, then 2v1ing Chaser McSpecial, and then helping out Someday on the backside. Everything else seemed to be going wrong for Immortals during that fight, but Pobelter was right.
What was that comment he says when he can lock in Vladimir?
Free win.
Free win. It looks like he's trying to produce those results right now. This is Dardoch, I can't shield you. You still win the game though, just don't die. Let's make this a bit easier for ourselves. Great aggression coming in from Immortals to turn that one around. Dardoch makes it out alive, and the team is now going to reset. Elder Drake coming up next. Their Baron buff, 20 seconds left.
Yeah, watching this one more time.
Yeah.
Dardoch already dead. Special just respawned on Malzahar, so Flame is kind of trying to make a play happen, but they get the flank for Pobelter. Flashes in, gets the EQ alt onto Keen, that pops him, then he zone uses in the turret, and now it's Chaser and Special on him. We know Pobelter outplays this side of the fight. He's always getting that full stack Q. Special misses him with the silence. Pobelter keeps his stacks up, and then on the other side, Ole gets a pretty big ultimate off to actually take down Lod with the Ignite, I think. Yep. And then Dardoch tries to speed up. Meanwhile, on the other side, Pobelter just healing off the opponents.
Dancing it out.
Yeah, Someday should not have come through this way, although he had the Dardoch sensor on him from Rengar, so he was really just trying to stay alive at this point. He cannot make it away as they complete the ace.
Ooh.
Crazy fight.
That's one way to catapult your mid laner up. Remember, Pobelter hit 16 right before they got those fights in. A big impact Teemo played had getting him in to do more damage. Quicksilver Sash for him so he can be even more of a nuisance. On top of that Zanyas, on top of his Sanguine Pool, he will be a hard one to stop.
Yeah, 558 ability power. Sitting on the Sorcery Elixir right now as well. So big power spike Immortals want to capitalize on. However, they do not have Baron buff that has just expired. So it's tricky to get a safe dive that doesn't throw the game away against the Orianna, specifically because of the threat of Shockwave in those small spaces.
Now setting up for the bushwhack, a few members of Immortals hiding in the brush. Pobelter taking down a turret. Not the easiest for Vlad, but he gets it done. And now the team can start to focus the middle and top. Someday, we've seen this before last game. You pretty much have a safe engage here just on the front step of the base. Nice depth charge to the back. Finds Cody Sutter on the outside. A dragon kick from Chaser takes him down. Flame will follow very fast. And Immortals get a little too confident standing in front of Dignitas' base with inhibitors down. Shockwave to take Pobelter down to half. We've seen this before, that he can stay alive. There has to be the follow-up DPS. Almost walks out of that one. And Someday's going to have to hit the hook. The pool comes in. Like we said, Pobelter is going to be very slippery in these fights. Dignitas hold off, killing 3.
Yeah, but the Elder Drake is up. It's 35 minutes into the game. They have 5 people to try and take this. Pobelter's flash will be up soon, and he's trying to heal off the mid lane turret. Even though it's a 5v2, I'm not so sure that Immortals is going to let this one slide.
Basically do a bullet time over the wall. You can see how just hesitant Ole is to get in. There's one. He's not dealing the utmost of DPS. This is going to be Elder Drake going over to Dignitas, a Mountain and an Infernal to stack. And they're feeling pretty good after that defense.
Yeah, could definitely have this game hold on a little bit longer. Team Dignitas would want to turn it around, but watching this fight one more time, Ash Arrow really poorly aimed.
What a hook.
And a great hook right after by Someday. And when Cody is dead here, Pobelter's trying to flank around the side, but he only gets his ultimate on one, and it's X special. So that's not the carry threat you want Pobelter to apply to the back line.
Nice timing. Great
timing on the ultimate there. X special has learned not to save that for Pobelter anymore. He instead goes for the QSS-less target in Dardoch. But still evades the final kill with Sanguine Pool, but it's not enough.
Now, Elder Drake defense. You see mismatch and where the damage is coming from and who went down in that fight. If Cody Sun can keep himself alive. You did see he was able to put up quite a fight last game. It just was the focus this time around, as should be. Dignitas should not be able to find him that fast right in front of the base. Now back to Baron. Wards to be moved up. Dignitas rushing.
They have the Elder Drake right now with the Infernal and the Mountain, so they think they can win a 5v5 team fight. Not a terrible call, but this could be disastrous because they're all in the pit. Here we go.
Bot lane for Immortals is pushing in. They will take this fight if they can kind of string it out as well. Cody Sun and Ole should be able to protect each other as they take down Someday. The fight in the pit right now has Pobelter on Zanyas. He gets himself to slight safety, but he's getting taken down by Malefic Visions. Special flashes out. Oh, it's Flame that drinks him under the table with the cask as he goes down. GA to come up. Ole only doing so much with bullet time. Someday lived in that 2v1 situation somehow. Versus Cody Sun and Ole.
I mean, Team Dignitas make the incredibly bold call. When they're up 10,000 gold, they can't take Baron. When they're down 10,000 gold, they actually get it and win the fight. So they force so fast. They know that with the Mountain Drake, as well as the Elder Drake here, that they can burn through it, and then they're stronger for the fight. So Dardoch tries to go in, but he has to kind of walk through, doesn't get it because it fell so fast. And then watch Someday just man up through Cody Sun and Ole. So he's taking 2 out of the fight, and that leaves the rest of Team Dignitas able to deal with Pobelter, who, while he still did a whole heap of damage, wasn't quite enough. Very end of the fight, Cody Sun tries to come back in, but he can't get close.
So the clears now come out. Immortals still actually standing tall. They can get this mid-wave into the base quite often, especially once they get that inhibitor turret down. The turret helps to push that back. Dignitas says, we need to relieve this pressure. We cannot have it constantly be coming at us. They're going to power up and take this one down.
Yeah, such a tight game now, actually, and we know that the winner of this series is in playoffs, so Team Dignitas doing everything they can to come back and not let this go to a Game 3. I also want to talk very quickly about Vladimir, in that I feel like his strongest point of the game is around 35 minutes, but around 6 items, I think he falls off a little bit since enemy teams can kill him during his cooldowns instead of him just drain tanking. So Team Dignitas still pushing in with this Baron buff, burning so many critical cooldowns.
It definitely becomes up to the player of how to manage those cooldowns now. We see Pobelter getting out at the last second sometimes, and one of these times that's going to work in favor of Dignitas, where he is off his cooldowns.
Yeah, and because he needs the QSS in this instance, it really hurts him. Pobelter actually sold his Proto Belt for a Void Staff because he couldn't get through the magic resist of a few of the members, but that doesn't really help his damage that much against the squishy targets anyway, so he's spending gold just for a damage conversion, so to speak.
Coming up on 40 minutes. Say let's do some resource denial, make sure we have red. Get a bit stickier in these fights, looking for summoners. Keens are down. Pobelter has a few, mostly on the carries is where I'm looking for those summoner spells right now. So this fight, gonna have real good positioning right now. Dignitas says we position down mid lane, and they're not gonna have any minions actually to beat this turret up.
They're teleporting in and Rengar ulting. They want to fight.
Gonna be bounced back. He's got to be careful where he uses Nick Special. Has his ultimate still. Shockwave down to the 2 members. Keen Nick Special get thrown around, and now the focus is on to Flame. True shot barrage from Lod on the backside. He's gonna start delivering in. One last shot. He can't get Cody Sun. Chaser now on the backside with Lod. Pobelter gets him down with Tides of Blood. Cody Sun falls as well. A duo between the bot and Lod, I should say. They go down in a draw, and now it's Dardoch getting hit up. Dignitas coming in and holding the fight. beautifully through the teleport.
What a bloodbath as well. It ends up being 4 dead on Immortals, even though they had what seemed like the entire team, Dignitas team, in Vladimir ult plus bullet time, and at that point you thought maybe it was over, but it was not. And now with 30-second death timers and a full health tank coming back in, they might push for the inhibitor against just Pobelter.
So many things happened in that fight. On the front, the true shot barrage on the backside that allowed some of the kills to come through. And now it looks like they will be able to have Pobelter. An alley-oop takes him down. And it's going to be the Nexus turrets here for Dignitas. What a swing. We had inhibitors down on the side of Dig, and now they start to take down some of their own and put a dent in Immortals' base.
Immortals was up over 10,000 gold in this game, broke every single one of Team Dignitas' inhibitor turrets and a Nexus turret, and now they're on the brink of defeat. This fight was their attempt to get back into it. The shockwave was burned early, seemed ineffectual, and at this point you think the fight's going for Immortals, but Laud actually gets so much damage in on the backside, pushing Cody out of the fight. They finish off Flame, and then even though Pobelter's in, he's just trying to get the AoE on as many people as possible. It takes a while to kill Laud. He still takes down Ole on the backside, and Dardoch on this really assassin-type Rengar building so much attack damage in these big brawly 5v5 team fights with Malzahar silences thrown in and Orianna shockwaves. He's having a hard time getting effectiveness. Laud happy after that fight.
Feels good. Kind of do at least the damage to one person, even if it's across everybody, or two. He definitely was able to do that with his true shot barrage and follow up. A valiant attempt by everybody on Dig. Immortals tried to pull the trigger. They're 40 minutes in, causes them a bit of their base, and now Dignitas on the upper hand, down in gold, but ready to stand tall in front of these turrets. Top lane not pushed in for them, and bot is kind of holding at a standstill. So they could get themselves into trouble here. It's just about how long they stay.
Yeah, they're seemingly only buying time here, but if they get the right pick, they go for it. The danger is the Cody Sun lands a good Ashe ult onto a squishy target. There's no Mikhails anywhere in this game, just the one Mercurial Scimitar onto Laud if he is the one who gets tagged. But also really tanky people. So Someday is huge with the Knight's Vow, as well as the full set of tank items.
That.
Immortals had 2 people down bottom killing that super minion wave, so it opens up the time for Team Dignitas to take that turret. Generally speaking, when you're defending, you let the super minions push up a little bit closer to your base so you can clear the minion wave while still defending the inhibitor. Immortals doesn't do that here and puts themselves in a worse situation as now Team Dignitas can turn for the inhibitor.
They almost can't go in. Someday is just standing. Oh my word, absolutely deleted. Dardoch, 65 seconds on the clock for Immortals to get him back. And Baron is in 30 seconds. If they do get into any trouble, they back up, they take Baron, and they come through and clean it up again, but it doesn't look like they're leaving just yet.
Yeah, live by Dardoch, die by Dardoch is what's happening with Immortals right now. Team Dignitas, no Baron, but 2 open inhibitors and a dead jungler. Immortals would have to do a 4v5 to stop this and save the series.
Was it Someday hooking in the game? Back to Cody's son. They play ping pong with the AD carry, and now 2 members of Immortals are down as 3 fight and go for broke. Pobelter puts himself in. Flame's there on the front of the fight too. Belter falls. The GA for Flame is only going to last so long as they almost get the last attacks onto Ole. Dignitas coming back from behind in this game. Looking at the last Nexus turret. Possibly a final kill onto Ole. An ace onto Immortals as they look to take their Nexus. Ole lives. Dardoch to the fountain. It won't be the ace, but it will be the game. Dignitas take the series 2-0 and look for playoffs.
And relief washes over the faces of the Team Dignitas roster as they were so hyped coming into this split. The acquisition of Someday, bringing in Chaser, and then to start 1-6. But they trusted the process. They brought in a new coach, and now they're in playoffs.
Hesitation throughout a lot of these fights. But once they did take them, it seemed like Dignitas became more coordinated in communication, what they wanted to do, and being able to use Someday, Chaser, all of these ultimates, all of these people that can get in and out of fights to kind of confuse that factor, like you, or confuse the engage, I should say. And like you said, the silences throwing off those engages of the assassins of Dardoch and Pobelter trying to get in.
Yeah,
special.
Even just having the Malzahar on the team influenced this game. Pobelter not being able to get to a true 6 item, selling his Proto Belt to lower his mobility just to get Void Staff later in the game. Immortals absolutely had the opportunities to send this to a Game 3. They were up over 10,000 gold. They demolished 10 turrets on the map. They were in position to win. However, Team Dignitas did not give up. Laud had potentially his best game of the split in the game that they clinched the playoffs with. And that's it. They're in playoffs.
Thumbs up from Laud as well. The man behind them, Coach Kopp, coming in through halfway of the split to figure out what the team wanted to do. That was one of his first things. I really can't tell these guys what to do. I want to figure out what they want to do first, and then facilitated their advantages, their abilities as players as they come throughout the years.
Yeah, and the critical thing about Team Dignitas is even though they have the Someday brand name in the top lane as the huge offseason acquisition, this team doesn't win until the other guys are performing, right?
Very true.
Keen and Laud are the ones that feel like they carry this team, because when Someday's ahead, more often than not, we actually see them end up losing that game anyway. So it's really important that they keep their cohesion together as they move towards playoffs.
And to look at how this game did end out, it was a bit more sound decisions by Dignitas. When they had their leads, when they were behind, you can say the same for Immortals as well, but we didn't see actual big just throws in this. There were attempts, the wards were placed there. The one that kind of hurt Immortals here was that last teleport in from Flame, and Dignitas was just able to control the fight.
Yeah, I mean, once that 10,000 gold lead started slipping away, I definitely felt the tilt coming in a little bit from Immortals. They were never cohesive, right? They were pushing the wrong minion waves. They were losing turrets that were completely uncontested. But with that, that means the other team was decisive. And even though Team Dignitas did win both of these games, the first game, they were actually way more indecisive than they were in the second game from a deficit, because they kind of leveled that up almost throughout the series. And it's got to feel good not having to go to a Game 3, because you can be in that mindset. Losing the second game in a best-of-3 series almost puts you in what feels like a sub-50% win situation for Game 3. So good for them to be able to close that one out.
Absolutely. And Immortals have to shake this off because there's still a horizon for them to look at.
It's out of their hands right now.
That's true. That's true.
It would
I guess so.
Exactly.
It's up FlightQuest.
The winning they were in, but now they have to wait to see how the rest of the series go. They may even be eliminated now. We'll have to check with our stats people to get that, because the game score matters in this situation.
That's absolutely true. I was incorrect for saying that. So now for an inside look at that series, we are going to check in